from discrete point practice to open-ended, meaningful communication. And of course, those core skills, the development of the core skills integrated throughout, emphasizing that because yes, in that first 2 or 3 semesters, it's really on that verbal communication, but you still need to build that foundation for the written communication as well. So yes, we're doing a lot of listening and speaking, but there's also a lot of reading and writing for those. And as you know, familiar with the edition, we have developed instructors and student resources. So it's flexible, easy to use across all different activities, especially now that everyone's teaching English. Enhancements, just a quick touch, are The pronunciation activities are still here, so I remember where it is. And probably going to search for this and because it's in Spanish and not in English yet. But you could search for pronunciación. So I'm just shortcutting right there and opening up searching for the pronunciación activities. Those are all still here. So all of those activities you're familiar with are still here. In the study plan activities, such as the grammar readiness checks, you'll have the tutorial to see whether you're successful. You have the ability to post notes on the calendar as you already have. To do that again, you'll just click on the date, and then you can add your notes to the calendar. I'm just checking through my list. So that's you're very familiar with the content, how it works, the variety of activities that are available. We've not changed all of that. What is also new with the 7th edition is we have added every 2 to 3 chapters IPA. We have integrated performance assessments built into the MyLab. Every 2 to 3 chapters, and those are there every 2 to 3 chapters because, as you know, the IPA is designed to test students' cumulative knowledge. And so each one is set the same 7 parts: recognize, identify, distinguish, and infer, to focus on the interpretive mode. There is a live chat conversation for the interpersonal mode, a presentation portion, which is usually written, obviously the presentational, and then a personal response. These are all assignable online in my lab. Obviously, the latter half would require instructor grading. The earlier half is machine gradable, recognized keywords, very easy to do on a computer. And then built into the activities, everything you need. In this case, the infographic, context around what we're doing, the rubrics, all built into the activities. We've also pulled out all of the activities, the context, the realia, the rubrics, put them in the instructor resources area in case you want to deliver them, maybe as a Zoom activity for a virtual class, or do them live and in person, or maybe do interpretive online with the interpersonal and conversational impact, or presentational impact. So you have that flexibility. But we've included all of those documents needed both in the IPA activity as well as in the instructor resources area. When it comes to, before I get deeper, the gradebook functions the same. We are working on gradebook enhancement that will hopefully be either for January or fall 21. We're slowly enhancing, so our big new additions were the folder structures and moving into this new platform. So, while we're here, under your managed course material, this is what you're familiar with, that course materials area. If you want to upload any of your own content, create your own activity, edit any of your activity, all of that can be done through the managed course material. So just as before, you can add your own folders, you can organize content. We can create our own material. If I wanted to create a fill in the blank activity, I could. If I wanted to create my own live chat activity to use as an oral exam, you can set that. We have training videos and tutorial materials available. We also have our customer success team that will partner with you, the instructors. We will only work with instructors on training and support resources. So if you reach out to Amanda Freeman or Amanda and say, we want to build our own activity, then we'll work with our customer success team so that they can either set up a virtual training with you, provide you with appropriate tutorials and resources. You don't have to hunt for anything. We will send you exactly what you need. We are in the process of rebuilding the user guide. So right now those documents exist. They're just not all on one page. But we can get you whatever you need for training, and we're trying to make more of those training resources videos as opposed to documents, because we found through research much more helpful to instructors when they can actually see what we're doing in the activities. Yeah.
Quick question. Are the tutorials exactly the same as the 6th edition?
The grammar and vocabulary tutorials? I believe we pulled them if we need to make a few tweaks, but for the most part, they are the same grammar and vocabulary tutorials. Obviously, where vocabulary has changed, we've made those necessary modifications, put the grammar in the correct order. On our wish list of things is to do completely brand new grammar tutorial. But the emphasis first was accessibility. You can add links. Maybe you found a really great YouTube video on Karen Star. You can put that video link right in here for you.
Honestly, the grammar tutorials are good, but the vocabulary tutorials could be better.
Okay, good feedback. I will share that with the team.
It's just a list of words. It's not integrated.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Let me bring that back to our content in our MyLab team, because we're in the early stages of planning for new grammar and vocabulary tutorials. So any and all feedback is very welcome so that we can actually incorporate that before we get too far along.
I have a question. With this box that we are watching, that you can create. So, what would be the difference between practice activity and extra practice activity?
So, sure. These are the activity types, and basically all that the different activity types are that you select from here is you're applying a default set of preferences to that activity. So, for example, a practice activity might have 3 attempts, but you might have your extra practice activities set to unlimited attempts.
Okay, I got it.
So just think about
Yeah.
when you go into preferences and you're setting by activity type, attempts, feedback, all of that.
Yes, yes.
That's basically what this activity type is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. When it comes to creating the activity, pretty much anything I select, unless I'm choosing one of the ads, it's the same window on creating an activity. It's just what are we setting for preferences. So like when you are building a test, and a higher stakes test rather than a low stakes quiz, you choose test. You can even create your own activity types. So there is nothing for quiz here. Maybe you want quiz. You can actually add an activity type called quiz and set those parameters. So maybe they get 2 attempts on a quiz with feedback, whereas a test they get 1 attempt and no feedback. And then you have the same activity creation tool that we use. So it does require a little bit of training, but it does give you the power to really create a a paragraph where students have to fill in the blank. You can provide them your own customized directions if you want to upload an image, any of that, you can do all. And as before, you can also go into any activity, and for the most part, unless it's an interactive activity that's built, but if it's a fill in the blank or a matching style activity, you can launch previewing the activity as before. I'm at editing. I'm going to make sure it's a good activity to edit. This is not a good activity because this is a drag and drop one. But you can go into edit and you can edit the activity if you wanted to add a question, remove a question, add an alternate acceptable answer. You can do all of that through our editing tool. So in this one, this is a drop down list activity. There's 6 blanks. I can go in and edit that, add something, remove something, tweak it. So that's all pretty much. Just again taking a moment or two to really break it. But you have all of those tools and resources right at your fingertips to do that. We're happy to provide trainings for that. I'm just looking. So there was a question on reopening an exam or an activity to allow students to finish it. Say their Wi-Fi connection fell through. All that needs to be done, it's a weird setup. You just need to have one instructor graded question on the test, and it can literally be something as simple as type your name in the box to say that you've taken the test, and then you can go in and allow the students to pick up where they left off and resubmit. And it just has to do with how the system works with machine grading everything and spitting a grade off right away into the grade book versus with anything that has an instructor graded piece, it will pause. So it's a silly little thing, but as long as there is an instructor graded piece in there, you can go into the student submission and allow them to resubmit and pick up where they left off. If it is 100% machine graded, they will have to start over again from scratch. Another tip I always have for online testing, just to make things a little bit easier, read the message saying you only have 1 attempt to do the test, but set it up so the students have 2 attempts to do the test. So that way you can just tell the student who comes to you and says, oh, it crashed on me, blah, blah, blah. Just say, I've already opened it up. go back in and take it again, and we don't have to tweak any set. So that's kind of the easy way to do that. Just tell them they only have one attempt, but on the back end set it so there's two.
But they know there are more than one attempts, because I tell them there's only one, and most of them do 2 or 3.
Even if you set it to only one?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. They're sneaky like that.
Yes. And then you have to grade the third one. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. That if your students have already figured that out, then
Yeah.
scratch that. Then all you have to do is once you've created your test, and actually I can show you this because I have it tested here. You can create a test that's all machine graded, and then you can go in and edit and just add your own question very quickly at the end. It's like an essay question that says, type your name in the box. And then that way you technically do have to go in and grade that question, but it shouldn't be that hard. You should be able to quickly see their name and just give them their 1 point for their name. And that way if anyone gets stuck, they can just pick up where they are.
Now that we're talking about tests, any updates on avoiding cheating on part of the students?
We have added the lockdown browser functionality. So you can set it up to enable the lockdown browser in the test, so students can't bring up any other window on their computer. That will not stop them from having their phones sitting in front of them.
Yeah.
But we did at least put the lockdown browser functionality there. Students, when they try to open the test, it will say lockdown browser is required. Click here to download if you haven't already done it. I do recommend setting up like a practice activity or some sort of practice run for the students to use the lockdown browser before make sure they know how to do it. But that was added in. I'm glad we did add that in January. And then, of course, we still have the same abilities where you can set a time limit on the test. You can scramble the order of questions for every student. You can prevent them. They can't go back and forth. They can only go forward in the test. So there's a different order of questions. They can only go forward. They only see one question at a time with the time limit, and then we can also add lockdown.
But that doesn't stop the friend to take the test.
Right. There's no way to stop a friend from taking the test for them unless you make them all sign into Zoom. Don't use the lockdown browser, and they have to take the test during that window so that you can at least see that they're there. Now, again, that doesn't stop them from sitting there on the computer and on Facebook with their friends taking the test somewhere else. But we can only do so much at this point.
Yeah.
Because you can't remotely control the computer.
Exactly.
And nor do you want to have to do a one-on-one with every student. No, I'm sharing the screen. So we have that built in. You can also do, for some questions, obviously you don't want to do it for the blank activity, or complete a conversation kind of activity. You can do question pooling, where you can go into the test and question by question pool certain questions. So if it's one where students have 6 options, you can say each student has to do 3 answers. Or you could put a live chat activity as your last question in there. Can we not do that? No, we can't add a live chat. I was trying to figure out if there was a way to have them to do a video, but it's the one thing you can't mix is live chat with other activities. And that's just the way the live chat works. But you can, so students with special needs, you can personalize their timing. If, especially in our new universe of being online, if the student can't make the final exam date or time, you can set a separate time for just that student to take the test. So maybe the student has a special accommodation and they're going to take the test on Friday at 4, even though everyone else is taking it on Friday at noon, and they need double time. So you can set Friday at 4 with double time just for them. If you have multiple students in your class that need double time, you can create a group in your roster, in your course, that's called double time, and then you can set it up so that every student. So then you just say, everyone in that group will get double time on this following activity. Then you don't have to do it necessarily student to student. Different time limits. I'm just kind of checking through your list. It's like the adding activities, modifying instructions and content for activities, copying courses. You can still copy courses. With the new interface, you now can create an instructor use only course, which is nice because then you can set up all of your settings. It kind of will act as your template, and then just each semester copy that as a student use course. So then you have the active course that your students are in, and you can maintain your instructor use course as your master template. What's nice also with the new interface, it's very easy to have instructors copy each other's courses. So rather than in the past where you would need to create a master template and then have people enroll in their section, now you can literally just go in and it even says create copy a course. I can copy an existing course using the course ID. So if Amanda created a course and I love it, and I haven't had time to build my course and I'm teaching tomorrow, Amanda can give me her course ID. I can plug it in, make a copy, and now I have a copy of her course. Any changes she makes, she can do whatever she wants to her course. And I have my own copy of my course that I can do whatever I want. We've made that a lot easier. You also still have the ability to create a master coordinated course that has sections in it. So the difference between a coordinated course with sections and an instructor course where copies are made, sections of a coordinated course, the coordinated course is able to go into the section and see what all the students are doing, see what the instructors have set up. And an instructor use only course, if a colleague makes a copy of it, you see that they've made a copy of it, but that's all. You can't go in, you can't see any student activity, you can't see what the instructor is doing. So there's just that fine little line that at least this way you know who's making copies of the courses. Or if you need insight into what, say, TAs are doing, you also have that option.
You copy the settings as in the template now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you still have to assign the activities for each day, right?
Right. So if you build your instructor course and assign all of those activities, then you copy it and all of these come through. But it's not, we don't have the ability to have changes flow from a coordinator to another. And that is because we set it up so that you can have that master course semester after semester. All you have to do is go in and change the due date from the master course and create a new copy. So it's a little frustrating at initial semester setup, but subsequent semesters it makes it easier. And then you just change the dates. And I want to make sure I'm checking all of those little notes that you guys shared with me to make sure I'm signed. The one thing that we are not yet able to do is if the student switches sections to pull grades from one MyLab section to the other. We're working on that. And it's a challenge only because of how do we differentiate to pull the grades over from one semester from one section to another within the same semester, but not have them come over in the second or third semester when they're using the same book. And that's where we're getting stuck with being able to program that effectively so that those grades don't always come with them so that you have the choice of whether or not to pull those grades. But I get a sense that because we've moved into the new experience and the way the course copy works, it's something that might be more feasible down the road. But it is, the two features we always hear that we're still working on are transferring grades and having things trickle down from a coordinator section into member section. We're not there yet, but we're still building in other features that people have asked for, like the built-in temporary access, the ability to link to the LMS, all of those sorts of things. So I promise it's coming. It's just taking a little longer to make that stuff happen. We hear you. The other nice thing is, I would say at this point, 98% of the activities in the MyLab can be completed on phone. Live chat still at this point needs to be done on a computer. It's just the way the tool is built. But a lot of things can now be done on the phone or on a mobile device. I actually had an instructor deliver a test the other day very successfully where half their students were on mobile device. Sorry, you have an adorable visitor and I have to say hi.
Thank you.
Those are, and because I've had, so sidetrack, I've had so many adorable visitors joining my calls lately that I have a friend who sits on my desk to say hello to our adorable visitors.
Thank you.
But yes, he stays handy for adorable visitors who like to join. So we've built in those new features to make it easier to copy, bring settings over, set up templates, all of that great stuff. In an example here, I have a coordinator course that has 4 active member sections. So I can go in and see all of those member sections that are tied to my coordinator course. But I also have instructor use only courses where I can see how many active student courses I have. And so it's also nice because it helps keep things organized. What's also nice that I've heard from a lot of instructors, you want to reorder your courses now, you can just drag and drop them. So you can keep your current semester courses right up at the front. Cell phone, we can text support at the end. I'm just double checking my notes. All right, video chat activities. So we have what we call live chat. It is our synchronous video chat tool. Students can complete these activities in pairs or in groups of up to 6. If you need, for any reason, to allow one student by themselves to do a video activity for whatever reason, you can go into preferences and allow one student to complete. And that was, again, user feedback because there were a couple of instructors with online courses whose students literally could not meet with any other student. So we've set it up so you can allow one student to submit it. So again, technically 1, but the default is 2 to 6 students per session. You can set and change the time limit. The default is a maximum of 10 minutes in the video, but students can chat with each other for as long as they want. It's just the recording is set to 10 minutes. You can modify or edit that. Yes.
I have a question. For example, you said that you have 3 students in one chat. But what happens if just show 2 people? So they can do the activity anyway?
Yes, they can do it anyway, and then you would just give the third person, they would not get points for joining that activity.
Or just because you said that you have to change the settings, for example, just for one person. What happens if the other classmate doesn't show and it's just one? That person still can do the recording.
They would not be able to record it unless you set it so that the minimum number of participants is 1.
Okay.
You're never requiring a number of participants. It's always a range of participants.
Okay, good.
So it's either between 1 and
1
or between 2 and 6.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Originally it was 2 and 6 because it was meant as a partner chat tool. And then we expanded it, the ability to set up between 1 and 6 because there are situations where you need 1 student. Yeah.
And those activities, can you create or attach a rubric, or how do you evaluate them?
Yep. So you can put a link to a rubric right in there. Okay. So if you have a rubric posted, you can put the link right to the rubric in there so the students can see the rubric. The default live chat activities in MyLab Spanish for Mosaicos are the situaciones, as well as the conversación portions of the IPS. So obviously the situaciones are technically designed for 2 students, but you could edit them You have a third portion set up in there, or you can create your own for more than 2 students. Let me find a live chat. The search feature and the flat view right for that. So here's the situaciones activity. So the students will meet in their virtual chat room. On the instructor side, I don't see the chat window, but you can go in on the student side and see the chat window. You can see what students in the class are there. You can invite a student to chat with you from the student side. I'm on the instructor side. Students will never see you, but you can see them and invite them to chat with you. So if you wanted to do a one-on-one oral with the student, you could do that using live chat. You could join, invite that student into your chat room, and have your oral exam that way, record it, put it right in the room. Okay, great. But here, so if you read the following situation, there's A and B. If you wanted to edit this and put a link to a rubric, you can just go in and edit and put a link to a rubric. The students meet, they chat just like we're in Zoom right now. And then they have an instant message functionality. So it's like, oh, I can see you, but I can't hear you. They can talk back and forth, click on their settings. Generally, all students need to do when they launch a live chat, they're going to get a little pop-up window in their browser saying allow access to video and microphone. If it's not working, they can usually go into site settings and just make sure their video and microphone are on. You can provide group feedback. You can give everyone in the group 1 grade. You can give students individual groups. So if there were 3 people in the group, 2 people really did a lot of work and the third one was sitting on their phone the whole time. If you have 2 people who did work, 4 points. You can put the person sitting on their phone at credit. Because hopefully maybe they at least picked up a little bit by hearing it. You can provide audio feedback. You can provide written feedback to the group as a whole or to the individual students. I believe it's just audio feedback. I don't believe you can do video feedback.
If you watch these activities, do you watch the students live doing it, or do you watch a recording that they
You
submit?
watch a recording of their video.
And then when they submit the recording, do they submit it individually or as a group? How does it appear?
So I'm going to go in. I have a live chat. Hold on, my Zoom window got in the way. In an older MyLab course, and I'll show you what. We're in the old experience, but I just don't happen to have something that has a group of students participating in it yet. So I actually have a video we can go in and see how it's grouped. I've actually seen the Comcast trucks around the neighborhood. They're trying to like boost the signals and the speed now that everyone's working from home. So here I'm on the instructor side, my activities to grade, my live chat. Oh, here we go. Here's a live chat. So click on that so that I can view the submission. And a few submissions. Actually, these 2 students work together. And I can just go in and view. So here, the students recorded their video. I can review the video and play it and watch that video. And it's taking a little while for it to load. I can see who was in the video, the 2 students. I can give them an individual grade. I can give an equal grade to all students, to comment to all students, or to comment to individual students. I can download it. I can see their chat history, their instant messaging back and forth, the whole time. The only part of their conversation I see is the recorded video.
Okay. I have
a question.
me too.
The students can see, for example, the instructions like student 1 is going to ask this and student B, whatever, before they really start recording.
Correct. Okay. So they have time to practice. So let me, I'm going to sign up the calendar just so I can find it easily. Let me go to the student side. And I have a whole video that you can share with the students. It actually walks the students through what that experience is going to be like. Oh, I just cried my thing for a second. Hold on. My too many windows open. And then I'm logged into the MyLab in too many places at once. And I just made it very, very angry at me. Let me sign in and sign out again.
Dolores, they can
Sí.
the whole situation as we see it in the ebook.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly as it's in the book.
Pretty much, yeah. So let me oh, it didn't assign because I made it. That's what I did. I was signed into 2 separate accounts in the same browser at the same time, and they got confused with each other. I'm just trying to function. There we go. Live chat. So from this is seeing. There we go. On the student side, this is exactly what I'm saying. Read the following situation, prepare, do all this, so I can read all of this part. Then I'll create the room. I will see. Make sure I will see that. There we go. It's not, I'm not using my right camera at the moment, but I could see if I have other classmates online, then I can just click on the classmate to invite them to join my room. They would populate along the top. It's kind of just like a Google Hangout where you see everybody in the classroom. We can talk back and forth. We can message back and forth. When we're ready, we can start the recording and do our situation. So we can work together and practice it. Oh, that's good. And then record it and submit. Okay. And of course, I mean, as an instructor, if the students work together and they wrote everything down that they wanted to say and looked it up and then read it, you can tell if the student is reading off a piece of paper or having their friend mouth the words to them on the other side of the computer because it's not going to flow.
So the student has the option to choose who is going to be his or her partner. You don't need to assign them.
You do not need to assign them.
Okay, excellent.
You can if you would like.
Yes, but they can do that.
Correct. You say you are adults. It is your job to find a partner and work out a time that works best for you to meet because that is an important life skill to build. Okay.
I have another question. Oh, sorry. I have another question, and it is if you have that document that the committee sent you, and I think you do, it's the last 2 items under the section platform video chats. And from what I've seen, there is not an embedded evaluation tool, right?
We do not have rubrics pre-embedded. No.
Okay.
And that is, I'm trying to think if we have the rubrics in the instructor resource. We don't necessarily have them pre-embedded, only because not every instructor necessarily wants to have the rubric embedded in the lecture.
But I'm not talking necessarily about the rubric, but about, for example, customizable buttons where you can indicate you made a pronunciation mistake, you made an agreement mistake or something like that, because many of the mistakes are very, of the same kind, in many cases. And so just wondering if you have that available, because that really makes it so much easier to indicate those, the type of general errors. So
Right. We don't have the ability for you to stop the video and tag, like at 2 seconds into the video, you use masculine instead of feminine. You don't have to be able to tag individual points. You can do a written feedback or a voice recorded feedback on the conversation as a whole.
So the only thing that I can actually,
student.
the only thing that I can actually enter in the platform is the grade and my feedback.
Right. We don't have the ability yet for you to tag it at a specific time stamp and say, at this time stamp, you said embarazada, and I don't think you meant to say that you are pregnant. Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We don't quite have it at that point. That would be something that you could put into the feedback to the student as a group or as a whole. So that, yeah, I can see what you're saying by those last two. We don't have the rubric pre-embedded. It's very easy for you to just go in and add a link to your own rubric. And that's how we can make it customizable, because if we had a link, you wouldn't be able to customize it, because then it would change it for every single person who's doing it. Because those links go to our master sheet. So by having you take either the rubrics we have for the instructor resources or something that we've created, now you can just do a quick link, tweak it however you want to personalize for your course. Other questions around live chat?
Do the students only have one chance to record, or is it they have multiple?
They can record as many times as they would like.
Mm-hmm.
So we can record the video, then we click review, and then we say, do we want to keep this recording, or do we want to delete this recording and start over? Mm-hmm. They can't keep a library of recordings, because that would cause everything to slow down a lot if we're storing like 7 videos for them to choose from. So they have to say, do I like this and want to submit it, or do I want to start over and do it again? And once they stop recording, they're still able to speak with each other, so they can have that discussion. Do we want to like this? Do we not like this? Should we do this again? And then upon completion, everyone needs to click finish and submit for review.
Melissa,
Yeah.
once the instructor reviews the video and adds the feedback, can the student go back and watch the video again?
They can. So just like any activity in the MyLab, the students can go back in and review their submission and see the instructor feedback. And they'll actually have in their notifications here unread comments. So if you've provided any comments on that live chat, they can click unread comments and launch that activity right here to review it and see that feedback that you'd like for them. So it pulls out anything with feedback into a separate channel so they can see it very quickly.
Melissa, I think you already mentioned this, but I just want to double check. And they no longer have to rely on Flash Player to do any of these things, right?
No Flash.
Okay.
Absolutely no Flash. That is gone. We would, which is important because there's going to be no more Flash in 8 months. Which is why the 6th edition will be discontinued in 8 months. And I believe Amanda shared that with everybody, but for any sections that are still, the students still have access to the 6th edition because it's phasing out, every single student will automatically be able to access the 7th edition without issue until their 6th edition subscription expires. So there's no problems with that. We're doing that on the back end because the book is actually retiring earlier than it normally would because of the Flash issues. So we want to make sure every single student is taken care of.
So let's say a student starts with the 6th edition,
Mm-hmm.
and then it expires.
Mm-hmm.
Would the grade go over to the new edition, the new book and everything?
The grades won't travel over because it's not going to expire in the middle of the semester.
Okay.
It's going to, the course is going to, the 6th edition will be turned off on December 31st. So unless you have a weird winter term that goes from like December 20th to January 20th, you should not encounter that.
Sometimes students purchase like I don't know how many months, and then they start the semester with the old subscription, then they realize they don't have enough time.
Gotcha. So if they don't have enough time, they would just purchase. So say their subscription, their 5-month subscription, they purchased for their summer course, and did partway through the fall course. They would just purchase a new 5 or 24-month subscription, and it will work for both versions of the book.
Okay.
We're not, because of the flash thing, we're just making sure that subscriptions will work for both, regardless of what they get, so that they're not stuck.
So
in
Melissa,
one
say
spot.
that, so we will have students taking Spanish 101 this summer. Say.
Mhm.
When they start the fall, they'll still be using the 6th edition for Spanish 102.
Mhm.
And when they start in the spring with 201, they will switch automatically to Mosaicos 7th edition. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
So as long as they have a multi-semester code, nothing will change. They just sign in at the new URL, which is pearsonmylab.com.
Okay.
They'll enter their new course ID and all will be good.
Okay.
And if you link it to D2L, they don't even have to worry about that. They just click the Pearson MyLab link in D2L, put in their username and password the first time, and then they'll be brought right into the exact course. You don't even have to worry about a course ID if you connect through D2L.
Do you guys offer instructions on how to embed My Spanish Lab into Folio?
Yeah, we have a full implementation guide on how to connect your campus LMS to our MyLab. So we have a Blackboard one, we have a Canvas one, a D2L one, and a Moodle. So we can share that with you. Amanda will be happy to provide training for everybody on how to do that. And we also have our customer success team. So if you can't make Amanda's training, they can make sure you have everything you need or work with you one-on-one to do that as well.
It's a really easy process. People
Yeah.
by the instructor guide. It's a matter of a few clicks.
Mhm.
Just looking at that as follow up. We'd be happy to send you the link so you can share
Yeah.
it yourself.
Thank you.
For the fact that like the Amandas and I don't do anything in LMSs most of the time, but we have our own LMS account, we can do it with just following the user guide, and we have no clue how to do anything else in the LMS. I've learned a little about Canvas because so many people use Canvas, but that's just, I've had some weird requests. Other question on live chat functionality before I jump into testing? So testing online, we touched a little bit on this about being able to reopen it for students, about security measures. But to get to testing, we go into assigned course materials, then into our advanced course management views, and you can launch My Test. This is the online test generator that allows you to create tests and deliver them in the MyLab. Our test banks aren't nicely compatible with the way LMS testing works. And it's because it's like an activity where you have a direction line and you have sub-questions and maybe a vocabulary bank, and that just does not play very nicely with LMSs. The audio doesn't always play nicely. But very simply, you just create a new test. When you choose your activity type, again, this is assigning that set of preferences to it. So I always say do test. Name it two. And then you have the full test bank in the left-hand column. It's the same test bank as you have as a Word test bank. But here, obviously, the audio is embedded. The majority of the activities will be graded by the MyLab. Anything that's instructor graded, it's called out very clearly as instructor graded. The questions, basically, the order of the questions in the chapter align with the order of the textbook. So the questions progress in the same order. So it's vocabulary, then grammar, the grammar goes in the same order. But once you've selected your questions and added them to the test, you literally just check the boxes and click add. All you have to do is click scramble all questions. And then it will randomize and reorder them so they're not walking through a test like they're walking through a chapter. I don't recommend scrambling answer choices just because there's a risk of potentially, if something works in like an order of a conversation, you could accidentally scramble a conversation to make no sense whatsoever. And we don't want a student getting a conversation, adios, buenos dias, in a weird order, and that would just stress them out a little bit too much. But once we've created the test for delivery online, we just click save or save and close actually. And then we can wait. You can build multiple tests all at once if you want. Then you just close out of that window. You would then go to add from library to pull the test into your active course library. This extra step is here on purpose because if you accidentally delete the test from your course, a master copy is automatically saved. If you delete it by accident, there is always a copy saved in your My Tests folder. I've actually had instructors delete entire chapters from a My Lab before. So you always have the master library to save it as a backup. You just choose what you want to add, and you add it over. And then you can edit it, assign it, set all of your priorities. Or again, as I mentioned, you can go into it now, and maybe you want to create your own questions or add your own questions into it. You can do that. I did a training with an instructor last week. He likes to do an essay question that the students have to do, and he wants to grade them. More power to him. But he likes to say every student has a different essay question. So I showed him how to create 5 different essay questions and then pool it so it randomly delivers one of those 5 questions to each student. So every student has an essay, but they don't know which essay they're going to get. So you can do that. So he just added his own content onto the test based on the test. You can edit any of those questions from the test as well. Yes.
Melissa, the question bank on my test on the 6th edition has exactly the same activities as the test on the instructor's resources, the test that you can download.
Correct. That's on purpose.
They feel the same?
That is done on purpose because if the test bank and the instructor resources for download is meant for print tests, the test bank and the My Test is meant for online tests. Same question. One testing program, just 2 different ways of delivering.
Okay.
So we didn't create separate test banks only because we could see instructors saying, well, I like the questions in this test bank, but I want them on my printed test. So we just made that one master test.
But there's not much variety then, and I don't want to give a test to my face-to-face students that so many online students already took.
I see what you're saying.
Because they're the same questions, exactly the same.
What I've seen some instructors do for their online students is poll.
Change them. I usually change them, but it would be really nice if there were more activities.
And what you can do is pull questions from the practice activities or the e-text activities. Maybe you haven't assigned everything. You can use those that you haven't assigned and add those to the online test.
Are they downloadable, or do you have to copy paste the image?
No, that's to do it in the online test, not necessarily for the face-to-face test, the online test. But for the new edition, because there is no printed student activities manual, and a beautiful segue into instructor resources, we have Word documents of all of the practice activities as well as PDFs. This was intended for instructors because they like to have the printed activities manual to flip through to choose activities, but we added the Word documents so you can use those activities on tests as well.
Thank you.
So it's an additional source of activities for you to use. So you can use those for paper tests, and you can pull anything already created in the MyLab into a MyLab test.
But how can you put some activities like this one in the test?
In an online test or
Yes. Yes.
So to pull into an online test,
Or if there are some instructions that we can review?
Yes, we have directions on how to do that. It's a video that I've made that how to pull practice activities, SAM activities into a test that you've created.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, with all of this moving online due to COVID, I've been creating a lot of training videos lately. This is how we're building the user guide slowly. How to do testing, how to bring in questions, how to edit all of those questions.
Okay.
So if you want to learn how to do that, just shoot us an email, say, I want to update that video for the new interface. And we'll get you that video on how to pull SAM or practice activities into a My Test.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. So here's our instructor resources. We always have a ton of resources ranging from scroll is having a moment. Here we go. Rubrics, pointers, suggestions, syllabi, lesson plans, situaciones adicionales, the PowerPoints are accessible. The testing program for download, those are the Word documents that we're talking about. The testing audio, we have the pre-built midterms and finals, IPAs are here as well, all the IPA documents, the context, audio scripts, video scripts, the practice activity. We have an accessible HTML5 e-text. So in case the students can't use our regular e-text, this one is accessible. It is flat with all the alt tags and works with the screen reader. Which is a nice segue for the e-text as well. So wealth of things, all built into the MyLab, now located in the left-hand navigation menu. You do not have to go into course materials or assign course materials to find them. E-text. Technically, the e-text, wrong button. The e-text link is a little book icon in the upper right. I have directions that you can actually add the button into your navigation menu, which makes it much easier to get the e-text. You can launch the e-text. We are working on getting the 2-page spread into the new e-text player. It was on schedule for release, and then COVID happened, and we had to bump it because what took priority was adding servers so that we had increased bandwidth for everyone moving online. But the 2-page spread will be back soon. I can promise it because I've been emailed about every month about the 2-page e-text spread. But students can navigate by the pages, they can go front to back, you have the table of contents to navigate. You or your students can highlight in your textbook. I can choose my color of the highlight. I can take notes. I can add a note. I can share my note with the student. And make that available to the student if I want to. I can bookmark it. I can add tags. All of that sort of stuff.
In that case, when you add a note, so the student can see them, you can put it and remove it, or it's just going to be permanent for the student, or how does this work?
So if I make a note for a student, I would share it. And then the students will see it in the e-text, but if I want it gone, all I have to do is click delete, and the note will be deleted. So if I accidentally put a note in, I can get rid of that. But all you have to do is use your cursor to highlight, and then you choose your color, and then you can take your note. And we can tag it. So maybe you want to tag notes, so you can search by tags. You can do that as well. Because you can have anything that you bookmark, as well as your history. And then your notebooks, you can see all of those notes that have been taken, or if they have been shared with the students.
How do you share that with the student?
I don't know why it isn't showing up right now, but there's a little toggle button on the bottom that says share. Export, I can open the book right here. There's a toggle that says share. If I don't want to share it, I turn it off. I can change colors, or I can turn it on and then it will be visible to the student.
Do you still have to click on the e-text at the beginning of the semester so that the students can open the e-text?
I don't believe so.
No, that is not the case anymore. I think you're referring to that being an issue a couple of years ago, but
Yeah.
longer.
So now that we've moved in, we should not need to open that e-text anymore. That was a bug with our old e-text player, and now that we're using Flash's player, it is no longer an issue. The e-text can also be accessed and viewed on mobile devices. And on the mobile devices, it can be accessed and viewed offline as well. So as soon as the student, they have to be online first when they've downloaded the e-text app. You can use it on the app, and they open it up and it downloads the e-text into the app on their phone, so they no longer have to be online to be able to access the e-text on their phone or their mobile. So that's really nice for the students. And when they go back online, any notes that they've taken will sync between online and the computer or the mobile device and the computer. So they can annotate and do everything if they're on the bus. Post-COVID, when they're allowed to go on buses and go to the beach and do all of that, and they're offline, when they go back online, they'll be able to sync. And as before, the e-text has hyperlinks for the audio, so students can listen to this. The audio links are live only on the online version of the text. The e-text is accessed through the browser. And that's because we don't want weird things happening versus the offline access and the online access. But here they have all of that audio embedded. We link out to a Quora or if they access video. Those links are all active and accessible in the e-text system. Anything with audio or video, right here in the e-text, you don't have to go hunting for anything. And it's nice. You can move the audio player. So if you remember the old e-text, the audio player was on, you couldn't move it and it grayed out the rest of the book. It no longer does it because you can move it so you can read along and see everything. That was a nice enhancement for the stuff. With the display setting, you can make it bigger or smaller. So if we're way in a face-to-face class again, I just want to focus on this activity for class, I can zoom right in. We can do this together. If I just like reading things really tiny, I can make it really tiny and read it really tiny. And to bookmark a page, I just bookmark, and I can search for anything. And it will bring up everywhere. Oh, because I didn't, it's going to have them all. Because I did look. But I can quotation marks. You can navigate. And then I can just jump to that exact page where that search term is. So students can search, you can search, highlight, all of that great stuff, particularly since students don't always understand what an index does. Now they can just search. But it is the full e-text, all the indices, the maps, the appendices, all of that is built in. And students can print. They can print a page at a time. And I don't believe we have a limit anymore. It's just one page at a time. It would take a lot of time to print the whole thing, but they can print what they would like to print. Also, what is new to the MyLab is built in on the student's today's view. And we're working on making this more visible from their today's view. The students can access the print offer. So if the student goes online, buys access to just the MyLab, because I just want MyLab access, I just need the ebook, I don't need print, and then they decide they want print later on, they can come right into the About This course, and they can purchase a loose leaf version of the print book for $24.98. The whole book. So that way students who purchase MyLab access and find out they want print can upgrade and get the print for a minimal charge. So that is built into the MyLab for all students have access to. Other questions about the MyLab? I know we've gone through a lot in the last hour and 15 minutes. I see it. Go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for your time this afternoon. I guess my one question, just in general about the textbook, why do you feel that the way you have included culture is different or enhanced or better than other Spanish textbooks? If you can elaborate on what makes the way you sort of infuse that aspect of the pedagogy and the curriculum.
Sure. So that was actually next where I was going to jump into a little bit about what's new for the textbook. But really what I think is unique about Mosaicos is that integration of culture. It's not just brought out as the side boxes. No matter what we're doing, whether it's vocabulary in contexto or gramática in contexto, we're still talking about culture. It might not be big C, maybe little C culture, but we're still getting that, and it's throughout. So I go into vocabulary. And I apologize for my Spanish accent. I did 11 years of French, then 4 years of Italian, and then basically around Spanish professors all the time for the last 8 years. So it's a little interesting stuff. But here we're just going through and we're getting this culture built in. If we do have a computer box, it's never just by itself. It's then brought into the next activity or two throughout the page. So we don't want students to think this is the language, this is culture, and they're two separate silos. We want to bring it in. So even here, when we're talking about adjectives to keep descriptions of famous people, right here, out of 6, 4 out of 6 are actually Latinos or Hispanics. So Selena and Sofia and Jennifer Lopez and Enrique Iglesias, Spanish. Enrique Iglesias is Spanish or is he Latin American? Good. Sorry. Things that I learned that we can also add on to that. So we're bringing in culture throughout. It's not just let's practice using our colors, but now we're doing colors with black. Here we're talking about where we're coming from, and we've got Mark Anthony talking. We've got Shakira. We've got maps. So we're never isolated. It's always together. And even when we're at the end of the chapter in our Mosaicos section, where we're doing our 4 skills, we're bringing in listening with the purpose, things that bring into culture, not just by itself. Here we're talking about parties. And what's actually new with this edition is now the escucha and the habla section are working off of that same piece of material. So rather than the students getting a unique piece for escucha, a unique piece for habla, a unique piece for leer, a unique piece for escribe, habla builds on escucha, escribe builds on leer. So not only do we have that culture in view, and we're already seeing what we're going to be able to do, we're also now building each other. So I hope that, and then of course, we also have the cultural sections in Enfoque Cultural, the Mosaicos Cultural, but we're trying to bring things that are both engaging for students and shows the diversity of the Spanish speaking world. So I think here we're talking about telenovelas, Venezolana. That was a new word for me.
So let me follow up. I appreciate the explanation. So we have at least one of our Go Division courses is part of what's known in Georgia as the core, and it's assessed. It's an assessment. I'm not sure if it's annual or biannually, but the area B that we're in, so students will recognize and articulate global perspectives across diverse societies and historical and cultural contexts. How does what you've said help contribute to that aspect of one of our courses being slotted in that very, very, very important core area? Without us having a course in that core area, it's hard to attract students to take these classes, to be honest. And frankly, the Spanish section is the largest section of that we're using and the definition of this core area. I wonder if you could elaborate on that just a little bit.
Okay, sure.
Sorry to put you on the spot so much.
That's all right. Luckily I've been working with Mosaicos for many years. But I think really throughout, not only just on the very surface level where each chapter does have a country of focus. So they're seeing that country of focus. They're learning about people who live in that country of focus. So for example, chapter 4 is La Familia, it's Venezuela. So we were looking at telenovelas in Venezuela. That's a global perspective. Families in Venezuela, how we get together and have parties together. Venezuelan cultural figures, and it's not just pop culture. And I'm gonna be terrible about trying to find something specific, but I know in like one of the chapters on Spain, we talk about the Spanish royal family. So we're getting bigger as opposed to just the pop culture references that, for whatever reason, I've probably been spending too much time on Netflix lately, are what are sticking with me right now. So throughout, they are getting that exposure to those global perspectives, those global cultures. And I think you can even wrap it all in through, in addition to the 2 video series that are accompanied with the book. Because not only do you have the Food for Florida videos, where you have Spanish-speaking hosts showing students the countries, the 21 Spanish-speaking countries plus the United States. And it's both like when we're in Argentina, yes, we're talking about the tango, but we're also talking about university school. And in Colombia, yes, we talk a little bit about coffee, but we also go here. In Spain, I remember you at the bar having shrimp or crab sandwich. And like, oh, that's so standard to have on the coast in Spain.
Bocadillo de calamares.
Yes, exactly. But you're also learning about the film festival and the history. So it's like I'm just pulling these things out in isolation, because then you have the cineasta series where yes, you have the telenovela aspect of the gaucho from Argentina and in love with the vegan from Berkeley, because that's just, you have to have that humor as part of the telenovela, but they are at that fictional film school, so you're creating documentaries of their culture and their heritage, so that you're getting that personal. So I think throughout, on a daily basis, students are engaging with those global perspectives. And then to layer in those IPAs, which are using authentic content that in many cases they have to relate back to their everyday life. So the first IPA is an infographic about a university abroad in a Spanish-speaking country. And one of the things students are asked to do is, how would you create that infographic for your own school to entice students from other countries to come study abroad at your university? So having the students look outward and then bring it back in.
Thank you so
Does
much.
that help, or am I just like randomly throwing examples out there?
No, that was very helpful. That was very well articulated. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, it's like I didn't have a chance to write it out and think it through as much, but that's just, those are the things that come immediately to mind. And just because I happen to find the page here with the Cultura, so we're talking about matrimony and identity in the 21st century, but now here's the comparaciones question. So now we have to relate it. So we're never just given the information, we need to relate it. Or the one that was very important for me to learn, in fact, so questions about this was, why do many people from the same countries have two surnames? Like a colleague of mine was Raul Vasquez Lopez, and he goes by Raul Vasquez, because he was the Lopez family. So I had a nice little history lesson that was very helpful for me. And as we go through the book, I mean, obviously the earlier chapters we still have a fair amount of English in it. But we get more and more Spanish scripture. And then there's another question about, has everything been updated recently? The 7th edition published a year ago. So everything is as current as it could be for not publishing this year. So there is no COVID-19 covered in the book. But again, Venezuela is no longer less complex chapter because it is not appropriate for the current situation in Venezuela. We were just talking about critical thinking and culture, tons of communicative activities. And you can see just on this page, partner and group activity, partner and group activity, partner and group activity. It continues to build from more closed response to open response, all about students communicating and using the language. That's just what Mosaicos is about. What the core of Mosaicos. In the online courses, of course, we use live chat more, but students together via Zoom, all of those great new tools that are available to you. So we're talking about what's new in the 7th edition. We do have the updates to the scope and sequence. The main update really focusing on easy before difficult, familiar before unfamiliar. So we've standardized the grammar topics per chapter, and as the structures become more difficult, we don't introduce as many. So in the first 9 chapters, there's 5 grammar chapters per chapter. Then for the next 3, it's 4. And then the last 3, there are 3 structures per chapter. So that the students have more time in that chapter to focus on more complicated structures like the subjunctive, which we've really just studied and gotten stuck on the subjunctive. Although I've been told in Spanish the subjunctive is easier than in French. That's really, I do have, we can share as follow-up more details on the specific changes in the scope and sequence. Again, we're talking about updates, new content, new visuals, the food supporter videos. Now the links are in the ebook, they're tied into the book. Updated cultural readings, again, with some auto questions at the end. For vocabulario and contexto, updated the visuals, more communicative practice activities. Really thinking today. We've added new self-check activities in the Funciones de Forma section to help you form the meaning. As we're talking about in the skills sections, not only have we updated, but we've now thematically linked those activities. And we've added new comprueba boxes to tie directly to the actual Canvas. So a lot more links to actual support. So before I jump into then questions about support and training and pricing, anything else, this is a lot so far. We're an hour and a half through. I understand if we need to take a breather. Questions around the program, questions around the MyLab. Coaching for my terrible Spanish accent. It is much better than my German accent. So when it comes to technical support, and by technical support, I mean issues where things are not working, not training of I would like to be able to do this. Tech support's 24/7. We ask that everyone start at the website to open up a ticket, and that is just because it makes sure we capture correct name, spelling, correct school, correct contact information. And then right now, because of some of the COVID lockdown, I think some of our phone support is a little limited right now because a lot of our support agents have to be working from home. But generally we have support by phone, chat, or email. We self-help database. Everything is 24/7. Once you launch that ticket, you get a ticket number. We can track that case with a ticket number. So if you tell us we contacted support, they're working on it, can you keep an eye on it? Just give me that ticket number, or give Amanda the ticket number, and we can make sure that it gets resolved correctly and appropriately and tracked. Everything goes through ticket numbers. And of course, the Amandas can help with other issues, to help expedite those issues with support. When it comes to training, Canadian Department will set up faculty TA training, in person or virtual, depending on where we're at or what works best for you. As a group, as one-on-one. We've got our go-to support resources available. If you need additional training, Amanda sets up help desk sessions on campus at the beginning of the semester. We can help with first day of class student orientations if you want that, or just Amanda can create a video that's tailored to your campus. I mean, we can really tailor that training aspect to your specific needs. Just work with us, let us know what you would like, and we will work with you to make that happen. We're not going to leave you high and dry, especially now with the reliance on online being so much higher. We're doing a lot more training. I personally have done more training in the last month than I've done in a long time on like really in-depth features of the MyLab because everyone's moving on. So we will set up time, we will work with you however you need so that you're able to do what you want and what you need to do with the technology. And that's one of my personal favorite things about the MyLab. We can almost always do what you want to do with it, and we'll work with you to make that happen. It's a very powerful tool. When we get to pricing, default pricing, online purchase to the students. It's actually gone down recently. 5-month access to the MyLab, $99 direct to the student. 24-month access direct to the student, $119. If they want print, they can upgrade for an additional $25. So 24 months of the MyLab plus the full loose leaf book is $145 direct to the student. That's just standard national pricing. We can do custom print options for students like we've done in the past. Those pricing does not change. We can work with you as necessary, as we always have on the pricing, and make sure we're providing something that's fair and equitable to the students. And then I'm going to let Amanda talk more about inclusive access because she deals with that and is more familiar. Your campus is inclusive access. I just have broad strokes because my focus is more content.
I'm excited to talk about this actually. And so for you all, this is very exciting for us and for y'all. Last week, Pearson signed a contract with Georgia Southern where we're partnering together on an inclusive access program. So what that means is that if you choose to opt into this program as a department, when students register for their course in Folio, they are automatically given access to my Spanish lab on the first day of class at a great price point. So you can see here that from the $99 5-month access, students actually through inclusive access only pay $86.13. And then for 24-month access, that's $103.53. So again, I think the great benefits of this is that students within the first day of class are ready to go. They've got open access to my Spanish lab, removes the registration process for them. So those are some great benefits as well as the price point. Now, I will say full disclosure, because the contract was just signed last week, we have to build a system around that. And I don't know if we have enough time at the time that you guys make the decision as a department to move into inclusive access for the fall semester. But I do want to guarantee to you guys that if you choose to do this for the following spring semester, we will honor this price point for the fall as well, so that there won't be any shifts in pricing in the interim. Are there any questions about that?
Honestly, we got through a lot in an hour and a half. Something to pop up in the chat. Oh, that sounds great.
It is great. It really simplifies everything.
Yeah. I mean, really the goal with inclusive access, maybe the goal with the new MyLab platform is to really streamline things and make it simple as much as we can for the student. And even simplify things for you. I mean, it's so much easier for you to say, everyone, show up on day one, click into D2L, launch the course, you're ready to go. If you don't want to buy it this way, click the opt-out button and you can go buy yourself.
Well, and actually, I forgot a very important piece of this, which is the last bullet point on this slide. We're also providing free access to the dual enrollment students for courses that are in inclusive access. And I know that that's a really important thing in the state of Georgia, and it's provided some setback for you all determining how students are going to pay for those materials. So for all dual enrollment students, we provide the course materials at no cost.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're really proud of it and excited about it too.
Any other questions? I feel like we went through a lot really quickly. We have the time for questions, but if we also want to get back a little bit of time in the afternoon, that is 100% possible as well. I think I was going through, as we were talking, the document that you all shared with us, and I'm very confident that we touched on all of those bullet points, not just the bold one, but I think we got to just about every single non-bolded one as well. Your questions, different Spanish language varieties, we have the boxes in the palabras, how things are extended in other countries, grammar and vocabulary you're familiar with. In contexto first, the vocabulary list is at the end of the chapter for the most part. Grammar rules come after the in contexto, and then to practice for the student, with the emphasis on the communicative focus, starting from closed response to street point activity to open-ended free response activity. We talked about diversity and just rereading that document. Anything else you would like us to touch on and discuss?
Yes, I have a question. I'm sorry if you mentioned this. I don't think you did, but just in case. Are the materials available offline?
So the e-text is available for offline use to the students through mobile devices. The MyLab does not work offline because it's designed with the online system with the immediate grading and feedback, so it needs to go, of course, back and forth to the server. But you do have the PDFs as well as the Word documents of those practice activities. So if, for whatever reason, the internet goes down, you could probably send students activities to take it out. I'm not quite sure because everything is so reliant on internet. But you do have those printed options in case you need to do that. Or maybe you want the students to do a writing activity in class, so you can actually have that and print that out in one of those PDFs or Word. But the e-text is fully accessible offline on a mobile device. Amanda, through IA, is that a Red Shelf or a Vital Source by any chance?
Yes, so we also provide the e-text within Folio through channel partners, Vital Source and Red Shelf, and I can't remember which one Georgia Southern is partnering with, but to answer the question, yes, those are available for offline use. So the students automatically access through inclusive access.
Yeah. So that there is that e-text outside of the MyLab that can be used on a computer offline as well, through either Vital Source or Red Shelf.
I have a quick question. That inclusive access program, when's the deadline that we could sign up for this and have it appear in our folio courses like that? Is there a deadline that you guys are talking about, or is it just already done? If we chose to go with Mosaicos, say it would only appear in the spring, not in the fall this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, we haven't passed the deadline just yet, I don't believe, but I think we're looking in like the next week.
Okay.
Need to get that in, and I don't want to put anyone in a position where we're rushing. But that being said, if it is something that we need to hold off on, we will still honor that inclusive access pricing and then move in that direction for the spring.
Question regarding Folio. What happens if Folio doesn't work, so the students still can log in to the site or not?
They can still access the MyLab if Folio goes down.
Excuse me?
They can still access the MyLab if Folio goes down. There's always a backdoor into the MyLab.
Okay.
That's also important because for support reasons, our support team can still access the students' courses in the MyLab and never have to touch Folio.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So we have that backdoor.
Thanks.
And again, if you miss that deadline for the fall inclusive access for the fall, let me just keep saying it. You get the pricing for fall and then everything embedded into Folio.
And we actually have a meeting, an internal meeting at Pearson about Georgia Southern's inclusive access program tomorrow. So I'll have more details around the deadline and I'll include that in the follow-up to you all.
Thank you.
I do have another question.
Mhm.
Sorry. What can you tell us about recycling? Recycling of vocabulary, recycling of, grammar structures.
So Mosaicos does not explicitly call out when we're recycling and where it goes through, but of course throughout the book we are recycling and using what the students have learned, because learning a language does not exist in a vacuum. It's like memorize chapter 1 and we forget chapter 1 and then we can move on to 2. So it's constantly building, but it is not explicitly calling out, oh, remember we covered the basic uses of sharing a star on this page in chapter 2. Go back and review that if you need that review. We don't have that in Mosaicos. It's more, we're just constantly building and reusing. And when we're presenting something in contexto, whether it's the gramática or the vocabulario, new words and terms are always bold. If it's not in bold, it is most likely something the students have already seen. And we have a separate title, the ANDA series, that really focuses on recycling and chunking of material, and that specifically calls that out. Mosaicos is more just built in the program and being specifically called out. So it's constantly bringing it back, but we're not flagging it for the students and saying, look, 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 don't forget, go back to chapter 2, page 35 and review.
Thank you.
Questions. This is your time. We're here for you. Go ahead, Amanda. And see pop off mute.
No questions.
I'm just fast watching people coming off mute.
That was good. That was really quick. Kind of put me on the spot there.
I've been doing a lot of Zoom lately. What can I say?
Yeah, I know you have. Well, thank you all so much for joining. It's been really nice to see familiar faces. I hate that we can't be there in person, but let's just pray that we all are at that point very soon. And I hope to see you all in person soon.
I do have one final question. I promise this is the final one. But you know that a while ago, this to my knowledge hasn't happened. Recently, or at least not to the extent that it happened a while ago. We had several problems with tech support. Serious problems with we ended up some courses without those problems getting solved. So my question is, yes, you've said that you are available 24/7, that you're keeping track of all the cases, but have you hired more people? Has the tech support department by itself gone through some kind of process so we can be assured that it's not going to be the same? Because to a certain extent, it seems to me that there was a lack of people providing that service. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow up and just say that I think that's a great question, Angela. There was a really, really big problem on the Armstrong campus with the dual enrolled students. Not to just sort of berate the point, but Amanda actually ended up having to solve the majority of the cases one-on-one, and it's really hard when we sort of present a textbook to students that costs what it costs, and then they don't get the tech support that they need to just enroll in the course. So I'm very curious how tech support has evolved.
Yeah, I would love to speak to that. And it's a great point. And honestly, I'm very customer facing, and so that is not a new complaint that I've heard, quite frankly. And based on a lot of that feedback and the poor experience that we had in the past, we are now working with a new contracted tech support team. We basically fired the old folks. We brought in a whole new tech support team, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this semester was their first semester in place. And I personally think, from where I sit, that I've seen a lot of improvement in tech support overall due to that shift.
We've also brought in new people at the director's level as well to help address with that new support team itself up at the higher up level, to ensure that we have processes and systems in place for that to flow smoothly. We've redesigned our customer success team to provide better focus and service specifically to campuses. And specifically, I believe this campus here that you have a dedicated success representative that will work with you guys on specific functionality issues. That's for having help desks are in place, but I can even speak to this semester has been the fewest number of case numbers that have been sent to me for support and help because I've just been doing this for so long. I can look at weird stuff and say, oh yeah, it's this. I have not had much of that sent to me at all since.
Just to add to that as well, last semester I actually had a meeting with our tech support team, so like the heads of tech support at Pearson, and it was a conversation very specific to Georgia Southern, because what I found is that a lot of the cases, there were repeat issues, specifically, for instance, even just the language used. Like a student may say, I'm in folio, which to us, folio is D2L. We don't know Georgia Southern's branding of D2L being folio. So basically, we met with the heads of tech support, and Georgia Southern is flagged in the system as a certain blending strategy. So using that as an example, for instance, if a student says folio, our tech support team knows that they mean D2L. So we've kind of made some bits in the system that are flagged when a student from Georgia Southern calls tech support. They know how to handle those cases.
I just would like to add something in a positive way. I also had problems with the platform, but I was using Atando Cabos. And this semester I noticed excellent service. Just we don't have really big problems, so there's a difference since the previous moment that Angela mentioned from this semester is has been improving a lot. So my congratulations to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's fabulous
It
feedback.
makes my job a lot easier and happier. I'll tell you that. I'm glad that you had that experience.
When are you planning to publish the next edition?
The 7th edition came out again a year ago, so haven't thought that. Well, I am not that deeply involved, but the earliest new edition would come out would be another 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
And Pearson across the board, we're trying to move away from the traditional revision cycle because so many things change, but so many things don't change. And usually when you do a new edition, you're required to do X number of changes and all of that to justify a new edition. And we're looking almost at, with this shift to digital, being able to do versions. With Mosaicos 7th edition, version 1, version 2. So if there's a big cultural change, if there's a big shift, for say something like our biology textbooks, all of this new research around COVID, we can't release new editions for big biology textbooks. But we can push digital updates through on chapters on virology on COVID-19. If there's a big change and there's a coup and the government changes in the country, we could push a digital update through to include that information. So this or the Spanish language council, I can't think of the name in French, it's l'Académie, but the Spanish l'Académie, if all of a sudden now we have a new vowel or we're saying we don't need an NA anymore, we could push that through without having to do a new edition. For ACTFL says, we're going to rename the can-do statement something else because let's rename our 21st century standards now something else because it's in the 21st century. We can push through digital updates without having to do new edition. So that's what I'm kind of easy on, I would think. The earliest new edition would be 3 to 4 years, but it might be Mosaicos 7th edition version 2, where we've gone through and made updates, but we haven't made changes to the core, to the scope and sequence, because there isn't necessarily a need for that. But don't expect you to have to make changes if you adopted Mosaicos for at least 3 to 4 years.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Grover. All right, we're here for you.
Diana, did you have a question? Oh, okay. You're on mute, by the way. I didn't know if you were trying to ask a question or not. Okay.
No te oyes, Diana.
Oh, yeah, Diana is, she's stuck on mute.
I don't know.
Oh, there you go. You're off mute now.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to do 3 things at the house at the same time.
It's all good. We're all there. Anything else from anybody else? If you do think of something, if something pops up literally in like 10 minutes, shoot us an email. I'm happy to help. We'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I don't know which one of the Amandas will send out the follow-up. We'll also include the more detailed information on the scope and sequence changes. You can sign in to the new platform. Just go to pearsonmylab.com. And you should be able to use your existing username and password. You just click create a course, search for Mosaicos. Very straightforward on there. If you don't, I believe Amanda set up activities for everybody, or activities, courses for everybody in your account. If you don't have something, let us know. We'll get that taken care of right away. Otherwise, thank you all so much for your time. It was a pleasure to meet so many of you and see you all. And we're looking forward to continuing to partner with you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
guys, no problem.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a nice week.
Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Adios. Bye, Grover. Grover made my day. Oh, there you.
I love having little visitors.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome.
Right.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Ciao.